movie heroes. We root for them. We want to be them. We cheer in the theater when they win. But when those credits roll, you leave that theater thinking about the villain, the way they looked, the decisions they made. You love the villain. In fact, why don't you list some of your favorite movie characters? I'd be willing to bet a majority of them are villains. There's just something about villains we cannot get enough of. Let's break down why that is. Sympathetic backstory. Of course, heroes have sad backstories, it's just that villains take it to another level. Villains typically start with beautiful ideals and outlooks, but that worldview is completely shattered by life's unfairness or by the actions of others.
You must be truly desperate to come to me for help.
Villains are humanized by the pain and terror of their backstories.
Here's Johnny.
Some were neglected, abused, or backstabbed by those who they love the most. We understand the harsh realities of the world led them to no choice but to act the way they do.
I am inevitable.
We sympathize with them. As we watch the descent into madness, we see the broken human behind it all. One that was once a normal human being, just like the hero. Aura. The typical hero wears tights and bright colors. Zero drip alert. Now think about the fashion, the vogue of the villains. Black, leather,
No way.
layers.
Oh my God!
They demand your eyeballs' full attention and you cannot look away. Pure aura. It's like movie villains had no choice but to stunt on everyone on Earth because their tragic backstory gave them no choice but to flaunt. Everyone is watching, might as well give them a show. Even though Scar from The Lion King wears no clothes, his naked lion body screams aura. Truly, a movie isn't iconic or cinematic without the presence of a villainous figure.
Long live the king.
Simply put, villains look way more captivating and have to make use of their smaller screen time than any hero in any movie. Every appearance is a red carpet event. Rule breaking. Villains operate under no set code of ethics and are known for defying expectations. The biggest twists in movies are usually under the pretense of a villain plot point, changing everything we knew about the way the movie was going.
You ungrateful creatures!
Audiences are held captive by their rebellion and unpredictability because they are allowed an extra element of excitement and freedom that heroes do not get the luxury of having. We know a hero is going to act justly, for the most part. Villains always stray away from what you think is going to happen. Sometimes they even act morally and do what's right at the end of the movie.
The Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day.
They can do what they want and we have to abide by their rules. The more crazy, the better for the plot. They embody our repressed desires. How villains try to get what they want is one thing. The actual things they want is another. Money, power, revenge. Things society tells us is a big no-no are things we secretly like to see someone strive for. We are both fascinated and want these same things. So we are allowed to live through the villain and watch them act on these urges. It is through this parasocial relationship we see a little of ourselves in the villains.
Do you deny it?
We can explore the darker sides of our desires without facing the consequences of those efforts. Watching movies is a free chance at chasing desires that we can't necessarily chase in real life. We can live through the Green Goblin without having to be a scientist ourselves.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
Impactful dialogue. Villains get all the cool one-liners, dark humor, and sarcasm.
Aren't we forgetting one teensy-weensy but ever so crucial little tiny detail?
I own you!
It's like it's engraved in writers' minds to make the villain have the banger script, because that's always what we expect. The way villains talk is far more charismatic and magnetic. When they speak, you have to listen.
Avada Kedavra.
It is through the villain's dialogue that the story moves. What they say and how they say it is completely game-changing. They are constructed that way to create a deep emotional impact. If the memorable quote the villain says is deep and haunts you, then the movie did its job in emotionally moving the viewer.
No, I am your father.
As for their unmatched sense of humor, villains are subconsciously expressing how much smarter and manipulative they are than the hero, while also disturbing them and the viewer. It's plain and simple. Everything about villains can be broken down into the simplest form. They are more interesting. They have mystery, and we want to poke at every little thing they do. A hero's journey, while complex and challenging, is too much from point A to point B. A villain, however, bounces around the alphabet and even jumps into numbers. You could theorize about their decision-making, and all we want to know is why. Why did they go astray and want to kill people? Why did they decide to do that? When we are faced with something we are unfamiliar with, we are both fearful and intrigued. That's exactly the essence of a movie villain. For those reasons, we root for the hero, but love the villain.